You are listening to the Mark Guzman Podcast Experience.
For the rest of my life. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Now you're a one-woman show.
Yes.
You literally do everything.
Everything. Everything.
Wow.
Which is, speaking of sustainability, not
So you're working a lot of hours. Then.
Yeah. This is my life. And there are times, like with anything, you get tired, but I never feel any sense of regret that this is what I decided to do. Mostly I just, there's days where you feel like, oh man, I had a few 30-hour days during harvest, which is just insane. All you want to do is sleep. But then they're punctuated with these other moments of creativity, and you see this vineyard and you think, oh man, this is this cool, old vine vineyard that's not, this grape isn't popular anymore, but it was, you start reading history in California and you're like, oh, this is popular back in the 20s. I wonder, let's try to recreate something. And it's just that kind of unbridled creativity and freedom is just, it's totally worth it. It keeps you going.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's your passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into the wine itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, just off the nose, I love the smell of it.
Yeah. So this is, for everyone who's listening who can't see, it's kind of like a onion skin, kind of copper pale pink. So the color that comes from a slow oxidation over time as it's been aging, and so it's much more of kind of a savory rosé, in that form. So
and what kind of food would you pair this with?
I would do it with something, kind of meatier, fishes or salad. I made a salad niçoise the other day, with things that are salty too. It goes really well with, like green olives and tuna and things like that.
Okay.
So.
That's delicious.
Thank you.
It's very refreshing too.
Yeah. So although it has that aged character, and it smells like it's going to be a little rich, it almost smells like it's going to be a little caramelized or something. When you actually taste the wine, the acidity, so the natural acidity, and this is something that Carignan's so great for, and Zinfandel actually, is that they maintain really great acidity even in warm climates. So generally speaking, with grapes, grape growing, the cooler the climate, the more acid you have in your final grape. But there are certain grape varieties that have more natural acidity than others. And so when you grow them in warm climates like California, that they still kind of have that nice freshness without having to do anything. So a lot of the wines we taste have tartaric acid added to them, which is a naturally derived grape acid. But these are it's just the acid from the grapes themselves.
Yeah, it's a really light wine too. Now, would you recommend to serve this chilled, or would you recommend room temperature?
Yeah. So while most rosés are served chilled, I would serve this slightly chilled, but not as cold as a lot of those kind of, you can drink this year round, but a lot of those really like fresh, only made for summer rosés, this is kind of a different vein. So as it warms up, you'll get more of that texture and kind of that, that flavor coming out from the kind of aging and the slight oxidation that happens. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about the process. How does this get from a grape to bottled?
Yeah. So with this particular wine, it goes all the way back to first I, have to find vineyards. So most of what I work with is fruit that I purchase from farmers. I do lease a small vineyard, but they generally, I found some really great farmers that are third and fourth generation that don't make their own wine. They just sell grapes. So kind of corresponding with them and seeing, okay, how are things ripening? And then the winemaker will go up and call the pick date. And this is pretty common in California.
Now, where do you get your grapes from?
Yes.
What region?
Mostly Mendocino County.
Okay.
And part of the reason for that is because around Ukiah. It's really nice.
Thank you for listening to this podcast short. For more podcast content, be sure to subscribe to all of our podcast channels on YouTube, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Libsyn, Castbox, Podbean, and literally anywhere else you listen to podcasts.